Hi, good morning. Welcome to Sunday Live discussion session. Today we are celebrating Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, and may your life be full of love and great romantic stories. So one such romantic story is in the City of Clouds, which we are going to talk about today. It's been written by Shweta Rani, and it's very unconventional love story. It's not the typical love story where the boy meets girls and they fall in love, and then there is the world which is going against them. But then in the City of Clouds is a love story which spans over two different timelines. Now, when I say two different timelines, it there is a story, uh, there is a love story from the 15th century, when emperor, when a ruler from this 15th century northern India falls in love with a girl. And then there is a story of the modern time, where the both the lead characters, uh, that is Ridya and Arav, they meet and they fall in love. And to know whether history repeats itself, of course you need to go ahead, purchase a copy of In the City of Clouds and read it to figure out. So that is In the City of Clouds. We will also have the author with us in some time, Shweta Rani, and we will have a discussion about this book and what all went into behind writing this story. So we'll have the author join us, and then we'll continue the discussion with her. So we're just waiting for her to come around, and then we'll take the discussion. So, if meanwhile you want to share about your Valentine's Day plan, or if you want to share how should your city in the clouds should look like, so go ahead, share your comments on the comment section. I'll read them out, and then we'll take it forward, and then we'll discuss it out with our author. Let's see how it goes. So Shweta is not only a writer, she is a qualified chemical engineer. She is a trained Kathak dancer. She is also a painter. So it's like many feathers in one hat that she adorns. And I can't wait to have this discussion with her and talk about her literary journey. So yes, so I can see Shweta around. So we are talking about In the City of Clouds with Shweta, and let's have her the discussion with her. And this is the month of love, so I think that's the best book that we have around. Hi Shweta, thank you for
Hi,
joining.
Anusha. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So I was saying that it's the best book to start our day of love, our month of love, in the City of Clouds, which is a very unconventional, unlike typical love story. It spends over timelines, two different timelines, and there is, I think, there is this reincarnation take, which is very common in Bollywood movies, but we hardly get to read about them on maybe novellas or on literature. So I really want to know, Shweta, um, how did this come to your mind that this is something that I want to write on, and the story should be something like this. So please share how it came to you.
Okay, first of all, hello everyone, and thank you, Antra, for having me here.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you
you
so
know,
much.
okay, some of the stories, it doesn't just come to the writer's mind that, okay, I have to write about this. The same thing happened to me as well.
Okay.
there's a little correction with what you talked about the book. It's not exactly reincarnation.
Okay, all right.
And what is it about that I'm leaving up to the readers and the potential readers, so that
Absolutely, absolutely.
so that the curiosity remains. Okay, so I was always fascinated towards history since the beginning.
Okay.
So if you go a little back in time, and in your school days, everybody must be having a subject called social studies, right? So if you ask 10 students,
Where you
9
read
out of,
about the palaces and
yes.
forts
So
and
actually,
yeah, yeah.
actually social
And
studies had four wings: history, geography, civil,
right, right,
civics.
right.
Yeah, right. So 9 out of 10 of my fellow students, or anybody, if you ask, SST was in their among their least favorite subjects for two specific reasons. It did not invite handsome marks from the teachers, and second, it was accused of being boring subject. But contrastingly, for me, it was one of my favorite subjects, and I loved history. And this fascination towards history became very strong once I started visiting such places, historical places, not only
Hmm.
forts, but the archaeological sites that I visit. Now, again, there is a contrast to this outlook, because most of the people think that what is there to dwell in the past? Why should you look for the things that are existing, okay, just as a reminder of the past? But the people have gone, the stories have gone. But I do not agree with this kind of perspective. I personally feel that people who are existing today, they are just the repetition of the people who existed at that time. I,
Hmm.
as Shweta, you as Antara today must have
Hmm.
existed centuries back in some another
Wow.
name with some other personalities. Okay, so that is the premise that is in this book. And
Hmm.
this book, initially, this idea did not kick off my mind that such kind of a story can be interlinked. But if you find, I'm fond of writing journals, and in my journal, there are always two parts. One part of my journal is related to my own personal experiences, what I see. And another part is the things that I see, the places that I visit, the people that I meet, and the stories that are somehow lost in the translations of time. So at one point of time, I thought that okay, this journal should be given a form of a book. So that is how these two stories try to come together in the form of In the City of Clouds. So that is how we progress with the book.
And I must say that I had this conversation with some of my friends who have read In the City of Clouds, and they said that both the timelines have been merged in a very beautiful manner. They do not give any hiccups in the flow of the story. So I think that's a kudos and thumbs up. Um, so I know I can understand, and I have read, and we have discussed earlier that you have been writing for a very long time. I think almost since your childhood, and so I think like it's very out of the syllabus kind of a question. But then I'm really intrigued to ask, like, is it very easy for you to come up with characters um, with stories. For example, the two main characters, the protagonist of In the City of Clouds, Ridya and Arav. Like I really want to know. And then there is this ruler from the 15th century, the story that you have tried to merge. So are these characters very, like, do they come to you very easily, or it's difficult to visualize and come up with the correct, right characters?
Okay. So as you said, in agreement with what your friend has taken away from my book, I have also having my conversations with some of my readers, and they found it easy to slide in through the story. They found it very
Hmm.
easy read. That validates how difficult it is for a writer to write a thing that easily gets to the reader. So the hard work that is put in, it was difficult for me, especially when I tried to merge the two storylines, because I had to do justice with the things that are there in the history. I cannot
Hmm.
tamper
Hmm.
the historical facts as well. At the
Right,
same
right.
time, I had to come up with the modern story characters as well, with whom the current time readers can easily relate with. So of course it was
Hmm.
challenging. But talking specifically about the lead characters, Ridya, while sketching Ridya, I did not face much difficulty because more or less she's born from my own experiences. She's more or less
Okay.
me. Okay,
Okay.
she's an overthinker. She is always struggling with her whys, but at the same time, she never hesitates to move towards her why nots. She always takes
Hmm.
risks
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
take a plunge and move ahead. So Ridya, she was easy to work with, but while sketching out Arav, which is the second lead character, I definitely had so many challenges. First reason being, it was a male character that had to be
Hmm.
sketched out in a women-centric novel. Okay,
Right. Right.
so that kind of perspective you are introducing, so that kind of challenge was there. Additionally, Arav, the character as a character, he is an introvert. So taking out an introvert perspective in a book that needs to have a vocalizing voice in order to show his perspective was a challenge. So the things that helped me while sketching out Arav was Arav's personality is linked with his heritage. He belongs to a royal background. So I
Hmm.
had some bookish acquaintances with current time princes, current time
Okay.
king, okay, who
Okay.
have that heritage lineage.
Hmm.
And I went through their books, their life stories. So that helped me a lot while carving out Arav. And second
Hmm.
thing, he has tried to portray his emotions through a diary in the book. So
Hmm.
diary
Hmm.
writing is again one of my favorite things. So that helped me to connect with
Hmm.
Arav a little bit more. So in this way, I have tried to manage these two characters. Yeah.
And how important, or what extent, apart from consulting those books, what extent of research you have to go into apart from consulting those books that you have just mentioned to
Okay.
write this?
So yeah, the major highlight of my book is the historical citation that I have used. But
Okay.
again, I have been receiving a few disappointed notes from my readers because they wanted some more history in it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I don't take it negative because it is actually a positive offering from my readers because they, after reading my book, they are more curious about knowing the history. So
Exactly.
that was my intent to
Yes. Yes.
leave it there because a book cannot
Yes.
be finished once you flip the last page. It should get going in your mind,
Right.
and that is
Right.
what happened.
Some food for
So
thought.
yeah,
Usually, you authors, writers want to leave the readers with a food for thought so that they can go about and do their own research. So, yes, of course,
yes.
I understand that.
Yes. So the reason I have used that historical citation very briefly in my book, the
Hmm. Hmm.
historical reference is quite brief in my book, was this because people will be curious about knowing what exactly happened to that king, what exactly the story of
Hmm.
that king. So one of the research that I did was the to learn the story of the king that I have mentioned.
Hmm.
It's a story
Hmm.
about Man Singh Tomar, who was a very
Okay.
renowned king in 15th century
Right.
who dwelled in
Hmm.
Gwalior. So
Hmm.
usually, you know what happens. The story of the kings are easily accessible,
Hmm.
easily available in all the books. But there are so many characters in the historic lives as well, whose stories are not written. They are
Hmm.
just imagined. They are just fictionalized. They are just sometimes in a very derogatory way. The positive characters do not come so nicely, so brightly as the kings do. So that
Hmm.
was my
Hmm.
intention to bring the female character from the historical background. So that kind of research I had to do to
Right.
bring the queen in the front line, not the king, and
Hmm.
connect it with Ridya, the modern character.
Hmm.
So that was the
Hmm.
research I had to do. So I would definitely, after getting the reviews from the readers that they wanted more of the history, I am more prompted now to come with in the next book with more historical offerings for my readers. That is a
Absolutely.
definitely boost for me. So yeah, that was the thing.
So it makes me wonder, like, what all goes behind putting a book together. We readers usually do not understand, and I have been witness to a couple of harsh critics maybe, but then I realized that there's so much that goes into it. I'm sure it might have taken couple of months or maybe years for you to complete the draft. So yes, of course, it's art, and arts are subjective, and it's always the author's take how he wants to express that form of art. So it's not necessary that what a reader's mind perceives, that is what the author or the writer will write. So absolutely, I agree to that. And thank you for sharing all the bits about writing and your literary journey with me. Shweta, is there anything that you would like to read for us today, like maybe some lines from the book?
Yes, I was waiting for this, Antara, because this is how COVID has treated us very badly. Because we are missing out the book reading sessions where we get a chance to, get connected with
Yes,
the reader
yes.
face to face. So, yeah. So my book has three prominent settings. One
Okay,
is, okay, I would read one para from each of the settings. Okay. So
okay.
first setting is about college. So
Hmm.
everybody must be having their fondest memories or the best days of your life in college. Second setting is about a fort complex, which I personally am very fond of forts, and in the throughout the book you will find a very good connection of the central character with the fort. And the third setting is the brief encounters of the lead characters, Ridya and Arav. So this book is also unconventional in a way that the love moments between the lead characters is not very much wide. You will not find
Hmm.
so many love moments in it. It's still the romance will be felt in the lead. So
Hmm.
that is the beauty of this book. Okay, so I'll go
Great.
with the first setting. So the
Sure.
scenario is the final year students have gathered for their farewell party, and the one passing of the parcel game is about to start. Okay, so there is one moderator of the game who is trying to offer free doses of nostalgia, and everybody has become so much nostalgic by condensing their 4 years of college life, and now when they are about to leave the college. So the para that I'm about to read is what is going on in Ridya's mind. Okay, so she was lost again in the ocean of a strong and powerful recollection. From the time she entered the college, unsure of herself, with loud insecurities, to the time she got refined, processed, and infused with silent, sorted confidence. From the time they were ragged and kept in repeated dungeons of awkwardness, to the time when they sought liberty in everything they chose to do. From the time they organized events on their own at venerated scales, to the times they roistered in countless impromptu parties, the sleepless nights during exams, the sharing and not sharing of notes, the terrace gossips, food of the mess, the evening strolls, the secret affairs which were not at all secret, the tender politics, the true and fake friendships, the changing relationships, the stage performances, the self discoveries, and little victories within. Everything, all of it, started swimming in front of her eyes, which had released their streams already. So, this was how the nostalgia started to sink in the final
Great.
year students. Okay, so the second premise is Vidya is visiting a fort. And you
Hmm.
know what makes a fort visit more interesting? The entertaining guides. They have most of the guides are trained, but most of the guides are untrained guides who have picked up lines from the stories, and they mix the spices and masala and all of that just to, you know,
To
take the attention of
they
the reader.
concoct their own stories somewhere, right?
Yeah. So somehow the guide of my leading character, Hridaya, he made a comment on the queens, and that disturbed Hridaya quite a bit. What he did was he was showing them around in the Gwalior fort, and he was singing the saga of the king, and he said that the king had 8 queens. Okay, and the queens were no different women as per the guide. These are the lines of the guide. The queens were no different women. They enjoyed the wealth earned in battles, spent their age in remaining young and beautiful, and relishing the most luxurious life at their disposal. All they had to do was to keep the king happy. So this was the kind of outlook that Vidya thought that people have. Even today, they have this feeling. Even they don't show it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So what Vidya is telling now through her thoughts is the guide was doing a fine job until he started making queens look smaller in his gender colored statements. Infuriated, Hridaya wanted to lash out his remarks by either discontinuing the tour or show him in reality what women were and are capable of. She although remained quiet, realizing that the world has just got under her new skin, donned a new clock, but the outlook of most of them is still the same. They can easily relegate, easily delegate, and easily instigate a woman who is the product of years of sexism and objectification. So these kind of incidents are in number.
Hmm.
Day in and day out, we face such kind of people, and all we can do is getting infuriated and then finally ignore them because they are just the negative influence that we don't want
Absolutely.
to carry on. Okay. And the third promise, this is going to be a short one. So I talked about the brief love encounters between Vidya and Arav.
Hmm.
Once in
Hmm.
college, Arav was an introvert and he was having an unrequited love feelings towards Vidya. Vidya was not having the same kind of feeling. So Vidya asked him, they were good friends though.
Hmm.
So Vidya asked him, why do you like me? What is there to like? Then Arav is saying, I don't like you. You know that. I don't like you. And I would not want you to hear what I wouldn't say. But let me explain this way. It is all about acceptance and making decisions. Accepting that our heart has made ties without our notice and deciding to allow this defiance. When we actually stop fighting it, we realize its power to transform a person from an indecisive, irrational, fearing naive to a dauntless explorer, soaring into a sky full of clouds in a hope that 1,000 splendid suns are waiting for the arrival of the brightest day. So that is how he defined love. So
Hmm.
these were the three best paras, my favorite paras that I wanted to read out for my readers.
Wow. Like someone coming and like saying those words, I'd be like, oh my God. Thank you so much for reading these lines for me and for my friends. Shweta, I just realized that I did not say hi and hello. Like, I did not welcome you properly before, like when we started. So I want to welcome you now formally.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Shweta, for joining me. Uh,
Thank you,
uh,
Adra, for having me.
and I would also like to take this moment and let everyone know that uh, In the City of Clouds is available on Amazon as well as every other e-com platform, Flipkart and whatever e-com platforms you visit to. So get your copy. I think we have seduced you enough so far, like what the story should be about. So go and get yourselves a copy. And yes, of course. So I'll come back to this session now, Shweta, and in the morning, I had actually taken the liberty and asked my friends around about how should their city of clouds look like. So, so I have received few responses, and if you allow me, I'll read it out.
Yeah, yeah, it will
Um,
be very good.
so there was someone who said a city of clouds would look like the fresh breath of a misty morning with a shining city and with a shade of gray. That's Siddhant Agarwal. He goes by Sid Reviews on Instagram. And there is another response that I received, and it's a city of clouds If I imagine, it looks heavenly beautiful in my dreams. I raise my hand in the air to reach them, and they simulate my fantasies, beautiful but still far to reach. Alas, the city of clouds I live in has clouds of hazy, misogynist thoughts. It has dark, black clouds of void. This is Taru Saini, New Read CEA. So these are the responses. Now tell me, Shweta, how it's you have used in the City of Clouds as the title of your novel, but if we want to put it across and describe a city uh, of clouds, how should it
Mhm.
be according to you?
Okay, first of all, let me thank the two of the people who have responded to this question. The question in itself is very beautifully crafted, and the answers have captured the essence that I have used
Actually,
while
it seems like they have read it,
yes,
read the
yes,
books. Yeah.
yes. So, the reason, first of all, why I chose this title and the meaning of this title in the context of the book was that I believe that everybody has his own set of personal clouds, overhung invisible clouds. Okay. So if it is a dark cloud, that means there are negativities, there are insecurities, there are problems that is still needs to be resolved from your front. The uncertainties of the life, you can say. And there are one set of clouds which are bright, shiny, with so many suns, with silver linings. That part of you, which is still hopeful, which is still courageous enough to take the plunge and move ahead. So every one of us is lying with that overhung cloud. So if the city of cloud had to be in real, it would be no different from the modern life. It would be the same. The only thing that invisible clouds will be visible. Everybody will be like, tied up with one thread, and that cloud will be there. And once you, release that negativity from that dark cloud, the rain will happen. It will drench you down. It will clear all the dust from your mind and your heart, and that will be converted into a beautiful, shiny ball of wool, and that's how a person will progress in his life. That is how everybody's city of clouds will be. So that is how I
Wow.
imagine it.
That's so deep. Ask me, and I'll say that my city of clouds will be full of clouds made of cotton candy, maybe, so that anytime you are hungry, you just reach out through your window and grab a handful of cotton candy. So I think it's just perspective, and I think that that was beautifully said. Um, Shweta, let's move to your debut book, which is A Summer Breeze, and I believe it's a collection of poems. So tell me more about it. Like, are you fond of writing poems? Do poems come to you naturally? Um, Tell me more, please.
See, poetry is definitely close to I think every writer's heart, because it seems very easy to get in, but it is actually all about discipline, how
Okay,
disciplined the words can be placed in a two liner, on a four liner, or a quatrain. So when a writer gets that discipline of the words, and he cautiously places each word in a line such that a song is generated in every poem, and that song keeps on ringing in the heads of the writer, heads of the reader, then the success of the poetry is met. So that was my intent while putting up the first book. A Summer
hmm.
Breeze is a poetic collection, and each chapter, before every poem, there is a fictional setting. So throughout the
Okay,
book, a story also progresses, and then
okay,
every story has been concluded with a poetic
fine. Okay,
composition.
verses maybe. Okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah. The premise of the book is again, I have described three stages of love. First is denial, second is suspension, and third is acceptance. So, across these three stages, the entire
Okay,
story moves in the form of poems. Yeah. It
okay,
was published
that's
in
great.
2018. Yeah, and it
Okay,
was
all right.
basically, frankly speaking, I published this book just to have an acquaintance of the commercial angle of book publishing, which I was not aware of till then. So in these 2 years, I also made preparations for In the City of Clouds. So that was my first attempt to get into book publishing through a summer breeze. That also got quite a good response from all my readers.
It sounds very beautiful. Like the composition from you sounds like good enough to grab a copy and give it a read. So yes, of course, I'm going to get my hands onto it. Tell me, Shweta, how does Shweta Rani unwind when she is not working or she is not writing or working?
So my one single fact that I would share would suffice to the question and will answer in a very explanatory way. I'm a mother of 1.5-year-old child. So yeah. So when I'm not writing, when I'm not working, I'm that and I can only be that. And both these two worlds are offering me an entirely different magical experience, and I don't want to mix these two worlds ever, because both of these are giving me respite from each other contrastingly. And one of the most beautiful and special part of my life are these
Of
two
course.
worlds, hand in hand, going
Yes,
hand
of
in hand.
course. And are you managing to figure out time to uh, practice Kathak or
Yeah,
paint? You you are continuing with that. Wonderful.
yeah.
So Shweta, with that, I think we have come to the end of the session. I don't know how time flies, but I think before we wrap up, I would like to know if you are working on anything next, any of your upcoming project you would like to share a sneak peek with us about.
Okay, so I started with my upcoming book
Oh, wow. Okay.
last year
Okay.
in September itself.
Okay.
The pace is good. The story has
Hmm.
started to build up. I cannot, at this point of time, give you any kind of clue about the book, because that is how I want to maintain the curiosity. But the readers are going to have a very nice, insightful journey with that read.
Okay.
Definitely, uh, the historical fascination of me will be reflected in that book as well. And
Okay.
yeah,
So it
please
will be a
wait for it.
romance or a contemporary.
Not sure. And one thing I
Okay.
would
All right.
like to add on this also, because whenever one of the impressions that I got while I was promoting my book, while I was recommending my book to my people, most of the people have this notion that okay, I'm not into this genre. I don't read romance novels. So I'm in no way I'm marginalizing the romance novel. I cannot do that. I cannot look down to them, because romance novels doesn't have to offer only love, only romance. If you look beyond that, there's so many soft and tender feelings, so many soft and tender emotions, so many confusions, so many clarifications, so many strategical and analytical
Complications.
mindset
Right.
that
Right.
goes into that, so many tough
Absolutely.
situations that a person comes out of it. All of those things are available in a book. So despite what genre of book you are choosing, you can always give a hands up to the book that you are choosing. So not just a romantic novel, not just my cup of tea. These kind of things doesn't work good, if you are a reader in a true sense. So yeah,
Of course. You
romance
need to
romance
explore.
is everywhere, yeah. Romance is
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It has
Absolutely.
not just one dimension. If you are saying that you
Hmm.
are not into romantic novels, you are defining the boundaries of
Hmm.
it, of
Hmm.
this concept, which is actually
Yes.
without any boundaries.
Absolutely. So I think you mentioned this correctly. A reader needs to have an open mind, needs to accept books with an open mind. Sometimes, what we perceive by the title or by the cover or by the blurb, the story turns out to be completely different. So we need to keep an open mind and accept books as they come, rather than setting a limitation or putting them into a bucket. So absolutely, I agree. And I think um, romance is the most um, common and relatable emotion uh, uh, than any other emotion or genre. So, so I think people who are into reading more, they would be open. They would like to explore more different sub-genres of this broad level genre of romance. But then I think new readers, young readers who have just started, they would not understand what goes into it. So yes, I think I might have also experienced similar situations, right about denial. So yes, of course. But I think I'm really want to know by when we can have a third book in the market. Like how soon is it coming out, or do you have any plans? Do you have any date in mind?
Okay, so I am planning to release it by the end of this year, or most
Okay.
probably by the beginning of next year. That
Hmm.
is my plan if everything goes
Okay.
well.
And time actually flies just like that. So like if you would have said a year, like couple of months back, I would have said, oh my God, a year. But now today, after this lockdown period, I think people have become more patient. And and it seems like time actually flies. So I'm sure with a blink of an eye, year will be covered and your book will be out and we'll be reading it. And we'll have another session like this where we'll be discussing about your new book.
By
So
saying this, you are adding pressure to me.
no pressure. So
Yes.
no pressure. Enjoy your Valentine's Day and your Sunday. Have a lovely week ahead. Thank you so much, Shweta, for joining me. I know you have your hands full with a kid, with your job, with your writing and everything, but still you managed, and we did this session. I'm so glad we did it. So yes, I'm going to share all these details on our storyboard, IG storyboard, so that if anyone is interested, they can go over our IG storyboard and they can have the information handy. So thank you so much. Take
And
care,
can I
Shweta.
have a quick message to all the people who have joined me? Thank you
Yes,
so
yes,
much for
absolutely.
joining our live conversation. I thank My Secret Bookshelf for first of all discovering me, for dropping a message that such kind of sessions can be arranged. These kind of things are actually a blessing in this pandemic situation. And I am glad, and I think I'm lucky that we chose this day, 14 February, to conduct this session.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes,
because this very well resonates with the concept of the book. It has
yes,
love not only for a particular defined set of rules, but love for life, love for yourself, love for
absolutely.
family, love for friends, love for work. So try to find love around you, within you. And I hope each one of you are safe, sound, happy, loved by everyone. So thank you
Wow,
so much
wonderful.
for having me.
Thank you so much. Take care, Shweta.
Thank you. Thank you, Andra. Bye.
Bye. So, guys, that was Shweta Rani, author of The City of Clouds, and it was lovely talking to her. So, we celebrated our Sunday Live discussion session, Valentine's Day with her, and wow, what intriguing discussion and what scintillating discussion it was. Uh, yes, of course, her next book is about to be released end of 21 or beginning of 22. So let's keep our fingers crossed and let's wait for our next release. In City of Clouds is available on Amazon as well as Flipkart and every other leading e-commerce platform. So grab yourselves a copy. Also, do visit our online bookstore, www.mysecretbookshelf.co.in. Our Valentine's Day sale is ending tonight at 12 a.m. sharp. So go over, browse our online bookstore, and find yourselves your next favorite book. So take care. Happy reading.